A systematic solution for gigantic area capacities. Cover up to 25 hectares an hour at a working width of 16 meters and driving speeds of up to 15 kilometers per hour. The Lemken Gigant system carrier makes it possible. 2 units in widths of 4, 5, or 6 meters are mounted on the rear of the system carrier. With the Gigant Heliodor, the largest compact disc harrow in the world, a pair of 4-meter wide implements are carried on each side. It's compatible with the best soil cultivation devices Lemken has to offer. The Rubin compact disc harrow, the Compactor seedbed combination, the Smaragd 2-bar cultivator, and the newest generation Heliodor compact disc harrow. Each of them can be used in turn with the Gigant frame. In other words, the Gigant system carrier offers maximum productivity and delivers work of the highest quality. As a rule, 2 units are mounted behind the wheel axle of each Gigant model. Due to its innovative frame construction, the implements always run parallel to one another. A pendular level on each of the 3-point linkages accounts for ideal soil adaptation with every unit. This guarantees uniform, consistent quality with precise depth guidance over the entire working width, even on irregular ground, deep tracks, or cropped terrain. Using the tandem frame's hydraulics, it is possible to increase the weight on the implements, for example, when working on hard ground. Of course, each unit can also be used on its own without the system carrier. With the 16-meter wide Gigant Heliodor system carrier, the 4 working units join together to form a pair of 8-meter units on the 2 3-point linkages. Thanks to the pendular compensation of the lower linkage, the 2 8-meter units adapt to soil conditions. The 4-meter units are equipped with a pendular suspension and are no different. That means, instead of being rigid, they are ideally suited to irregular field conditions. What are the differences between the smaller Gigant 10 and the Gigant 12? Because it is not as wide, the Gigant 10 is lighter and requires no additional rear transport wheel. For tractors up to 400 horsepower, the Gigant can be used in combination with the Rubin compact disc harrow at a working width of 8 meters, with the Compactor seedbed combination and the Smaragd cultivator at working widths of 8 or 10 meters, or with the lightweight Heliodor compact disc harrow at a working width of 12 meters. The Heliodor is an exception. Due to its reduced weight, it can be employed easily with the smaller system carrier. When folded into a compact position, none of the smaller Gigant models exceeds a transport width of 3 meters nor a transport height of 4 meters. The Gigant 12 is the flagship model among our system carriers. It is conceived exclusively for use with working widths of 10, 12, and 16 meters. 2, 5, or 6 meter wide versions of the Rubin, Compactor, or Smaragd can be mounted on the Gigant 12, or even the 16 meter wide Heliodor. The diameter of the serrated discs on its 4 meter wide units has been increased from 465 to 510 millimeters, allowing them to cultivate the soil to a working depth of 14 centimeters. The Gigant 12 requires a tractor with greater than 400 horsepower. The 2 extremely high-volume 600 or 800 millimeter wide tires are arranged to prevent damage to the soil despite the weight. On headlands, the system carrier is supported by an additional 3rd wheel. It is lowered behind the work units and functions as a tail wheel. This wheel is also used in transport in order to meet axle load regulations. For use on roads within the EU, however, special permits are required since the Gigant 12 has transport dimensions of 3.5 and 4 meters. Compact disc harrow, seedbed combination, or cultivator, each of them can be employed interchangeably with the Gigant 12. Even when your 400 horsepower tractor doesn't cooperate, work can continue. Simply unhitch the 2 units and use them independently with 2 smaller tractors. With its trailed system carriers Gigant 10 and Gigant 12, Lemken offers large-scale agricultural enterprises a high-capacity mechanization concept of the highest standard, distinguished by its enormous flexibility. This single system carrier can be employed for a range of tasks to achieve a maximum area capacity. During seedbed preparation in springtime, the Gigant can be used with compactor units. For initial stubble cultivation, the same system carrier runs directly behind the combine harvester with units of the Rubin compact disc harrow. Then, following the accumulation of weed seeds and volunteer cereals, the Gigant handles the deep stubble cultivation together with units of the Smaragd disc cultivator. And when maximum performance is called for, 25 hectares an hour are no problem for the 16-meter wide Heliodor. Without question, versatility makes the Gigant system carrier a wise investment that always pays for itself.